Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ProView, and it's your one and only LOC to the S Lux in the car, in the building, whatever you wanna say. Hey, listen, man, I was gonna do a post-fight review on the Anthony Joshua versus Christian Prenga fight, but guess what? Hey, I've had to put that on hold. And I just thought, you know what? It might be the perfect time to actually do something different. I just decided, to just briefly speak about the end of this crop of heavyweights era, man. This is the end of them. And I'm talking about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder. That crop of heavyweights, it's over, man. It's over. It's over. Let's just go straight into the Anthony Joshua fight versus Christian Prenga. Obviously, AJ getting dropped twice in that first round. Hey, man, these guys have been at the top of this division for a long time. And we've been seeing all of them, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte. We've seen all these guys slowly, heading towards further time, which remains undefeated. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua's punch resistance, hey, not sure it's there anymore. It's not only that. I think there's a few things as well that's gone. You know what I mean? They're not spring chicken anymore. You get me? You can clearly tell the desire to win is there. But, the mind wants to do certain things, but the body doesn't allow anymore. Hey, man, I respect this guy, Anthony Joshua, for what he done for the division, but the decline is here now. Second round, obviously, he came out and hit Prenga quite early in the fight. Within the first minute of that round, I think he hit Prenga, and Prenga felt the power for the first time. And yeah, he went for it, man, towards the end of the round and finished the job. A lot of rumors about, did Prenga dive? Who knows? Who knows? A lot of big people in the industry, have been questioning certain things, including Simon Jordan and, Paulie Malignaggi. They just raised the question, what happened, they saw two different fighters in Prenga. First round, a different Prenga. Second round, a different Prenga. But for me, I think Prenga definitely got hurt early on in that round. But who knows? This is boxing, man. Boxing, anything can happen in boxing. And obviously, you got to remember, there's a mega fight. A mega fight. Big money fight with Tyson Fury, man. And, hey, if Prenga proved to be the one to win all of that, hey, a lot of people would have lost a lot of money because of that. But Anthony Joshua moving on, fighting Tyson Fury. And may I also say that I don't think, obviously, watching Anthony Joshua in the inside, in terms of defensively in the inside, not offensively, but defensively in the inside, a lot of concerning things, you know. There's a lot of things that I don't think he developed over the years. One of them being clinching. I think the art of clinching, it seems so simple, but there is a way of being savvy and very, you know, good inside the clinching. And trust me, like Anthony Joshua, he lacks that a bit. The clinching game is not up to par, you know. Um Prenga quite clever actually with the first knockdown, what he did, using his left hand uh on the referee's blind side and to push Anthony Joshua's head down a bit and throwing that uppercut. you know. That's a very good tactic. You have to know a few things about boxing, for you to be able to pull them kind of moves there. And Anthony Joshua obviously getting a hit with the right hand when he was going back in straight lines. Same thing what he did against Daniel Dubois, just going back in straight lines and boom, chin up in the air, bang, he gets caught. Try to clinch, and Prengo was doing all those good moves in that first round, using his elbow to get him out of the way. You know what I mean? So yeah, Anthony Joshua inside, close up, defensively, clinching and all that. It's not ideal. But I have to say, even though Tyson Fury has also deteriorated, he's gone. He's not the same guy no more. And Tyson Fury, with his fight against the fight which was not televised, he obviously won, but from what I've seen, there's no proper full fight. But there's been people that uploaded bits of the fights. Nothing impressive. These guys are not the same guys anymore. They have definitely they have slowed down. A lot of things have changed. Reflexes, footwork. But with Anthony Joshua, the concerning thing is the chin. The punch resistance is gone. Before this fight, I've always said, I've never changed my mind. I've always said Anthony Joshua got Fury's number. I've always thought Anthony Joshua, when it comes to Fury, he's got this level of confidence, which obviously rises from the sparring match that they had a long time ago. Definitely. And also the fact that, it was with the new team. I saw him when he went to watch Fury's fight. He was recording, studying, his next opponent. And the concentration level, I've always thought Anthony Joshua feels like he's got Fury's number. And I've always thought Anthony Joshua will beat Fury. But after watching what I watched on Saturday, that punch resistance, that chin, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can't see Anthony Joshua beating Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, even though he's no spring chicken either, he's not the same guy either. But I just think he has a bit more than Anthony Joshua. Yes, Fury has been down, but the punches that Anthony Joshua is going down to and the mistakes that he's making, not because it's really, I think going back in straight lines, obviously, it's one of those. You're going to get punished no matter what level he is. But with the Gypsy King, it'll be different. And I think Fury is a little bit more skilled than Prenga. And if he touched that chin it's over. If he touches that chin, it's over. Fury will know how to finish, and he will finish Anthony Joshua. I've always thought AJ would win the fight, but nah. And as a matter of fact, I don't even think it's a good idea for Anthony Joshua to even go into this fight. You know, big money, don't get it twisted. Money flowing. But, you know, it is the end of both men. And the end of an era, as I've called it. Let me just start by applauding both men. First of all, starting with Tyson Fury. If many of you recall all those years ago, I believe it was probably 2014, 15. You know, let me go on Boxer real quick. I'm gonna find Tyson Fury. What I'm trying to find is that fight, Tyson Fury versus Wladimir Klitschko. And that fight was in 2015. What Tyson Fury did was amazing for the division. Obviously, Vitaly Klitschko had already, vacated his title, which Deontay Wilder and Bemen Steven contested for, and obviously Deontay Wilder won by unanimous decision that fight. The first time he went all 12 rounds. First time he could not knock out his opponent. But Tyson Fury came when Wladimir Klitschko was still, fighting and, boring us to death. That heavyweight division era was such a terrible era. There weren't many good competitors in the division, and that's not Vladimir's fault. He was walking through everyone, and the Gypsy King went to Germany and took that away from Wladimir Klitschko. All the mind games and all the things, that happened, he still went there and took the title. So, took the titles. He took all of them, becoming the unified champion of the world. Incredible. And that was amazing. At the same time, Anthony Joshua was making noise in them days. Was making noise. He's the new man, this massive, Adonis of a man. Anthony Joshua in 2015, I think just after Fury won, Anthony Joshua also had his fight with Dillian Whyte. A fight that changed a lot. You know what I mean? He was knocking everyone out, the likes of Gary Cornish, Kevin Johnson, AJ, I think was his second year as a pro, I believe. Was it second? No, okay, 10 pro in 2013. So, yeah. Fighting, 2 years, 3 years. Fighting. And just beat Dillian Whyte in December. And Tyson Fury removed the shackles from the heavyweight division, change the trajectory, man. We all started looking up now like, yo, you get me? There's Anthony Joshua coming up, Tyson Fury, is the champion. Anthony Joshua's coming up. They got some good, fighters in the UK, there weren't that many, but we're looking at the likes of Anthony Joshua thinking, yo, if these lot can, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, if they meet at some point, could be a mega fight. You're just waiting for Anthony Joshua to develop. And obviously the likes of Dillian Whyte as well were emerging as good opponents for the future. So British heavyweights were looking up. And that was thanks to Mr. Tyson Fury at the time. So give him credit for that. Sticking to Mr. Fury as well, we have to give him the credit for what he did. You know, coming from where he was. Remember, Tyson Fury, after the fight with Klitschko, there was meant to be a rematch. And, you know, Tyson Fury came as a different man. The rematch never materialized. And he went through that, what I do not wish for any man to go through, you know. Mental illness is a serious thing, man. And yeah, it's not easy, you know, for men, for some men, you know. It's not easy to get through, you know. But to come from where he was coming from, you know, which was death, really, you know, to come back and fight the most dangerous fighter in the world and to resurrect in the ring, man, because he was out cold. I've never seen a man come up like that from the canvas, and to also not just come up from the canvas, to dominate that round in the next fights that they had, to knock him out twice, to knock Deontay Wilder twice, a man that was feared by most, a man that had knocked down and knocked out every man that he had faced, because he had the rematch with Bermane Stiverne and knocked him out in the first round, I believe. But to come and defeat this heavy hitter and obviously bring excitement again to boxing for some is incredible. And moving to Mr. Anthony Joshua, man. Anthony Joshua carried or brought back British boxing to life. You know, this guy made it normal for fights to be in the stadium. Not obviously Carl Froch. We had seen Carl Froch. We've seen fights before that at Old Trafford, in Manchester. But, you know, to sell out Wembley, obviously Carl Froch did it first, as he will remind you. When he faced George Groves for the second time and he knocked George Groves out. But for Anthony Joshua to make boxing so cool, he made casual fans watch boxing. He made women come to watch boxing. You know, Anthony Joshua, this big guy pose, in shape, he's marketable. You know, every brand wants to work with Anthony Joshua. All the ladies are loving him. Across the pond, they're talking about him in America. You know, he's this huge guy. You know, just came out of nowhere. He can fight. Girl love him. Brands love him. You know, he's marketable. You know, he don't say too much in the media. You know, he takes his time signing. You know, like Anthony Joshua used to stay after fights, just signing, you know, autographs for hours, connecting with people and doing all of these things. We're thinking, yo, we've never seen anything of this nature, you know. I even remember when Floyd Mayweather were doing a meet and greet with Anthony Joshua, and most of the people were leaning towards Anthony Joshua, like trying to talk to Anthony Joshua more, going with the girls, they were going all on Anthony Joshua's side, That's how much this guy changed boxing in the UK. He made boxing so humongous and huge. He is probably the biggest star I've witnessed in my lifetime uh, of watching boxing properly. Obviously, people will talk about the Mike Tysons back in the day, Muhammad Ali's back in the day. But for me, I witnessed Anthony Joshua, especially in the new social media era where, everything is taken to this different stratosphere. Anthony Joshua did that. He took boxing to another level. And this is just my opinion. It might not be true, but I think it also inspired Tyson Fury to come back as well. Because obviously Tyson Fury talks about Deontay Wilder, what Deontay Wilder said to him inspired him to go back, to come back into boxing. But I think Anthony Joshua's success also inspired Tyson Fury. At the time, Anthony Joshua was not polished. Remember that. He was still a bit robotic and there was a lot of things that he had to improve and work on. And Fury must have been looking like, what? I can beat these guys. What? This guy is this massive, humongous, everyone loves it. What? I can beat these guys. So I think he was definitely inspired to come back into boxing from the success of Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua carried British boxing, not just British boxing, heavyweight boxing, back to life, man. Back to life. He was entertaining. Knockouts were back. You know what I mean? I've never watched a boring Anthony Joshua fight. Especially after the Ruiz fight. Even before the Ruiz, you knew there's going to be a knockout. It's exciting. Come forward, guy. He'll knock you out. The Ruiz fight made it interesting. It's like, he's chinny, so he can get knocked out. He can get down. So Anthony Joshua has always been an entertaining fight. And you have to give him credit. He carried the division and brought boxing back to life in the UK, to that humongous heavyweight boxing in the UK, to that humongous stage. So credit to both men for what they've done in the heavyweight division. This has been one of the greatest era to watch. Like I said, Deontay Wilder's punching power, devastating power at the time was amazing, entertaining. We wanted to see AJ versus Deontay Wilder, a fight which got fumbled because certain people did not want to sign with DAZN for 100 million. Damn. And again, there's other fights I wanted to see. Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. Everyone knows about the story about the gal. Between these two, there's a bit of history. I heard it's about a gal. That's what I've been told. Don't know if this is true or not. I heard there's some history regarding a gal. I would have loved to see that fight. And this is another fight, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, which I believe is a few years late. Unfortunately, we are having to watch these guys at the end of their career, at the point where both of them should really be retiring. So it won't be a surprise for me if both of these guys, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, were to retire after this fight. This era was amazing with the likes of Joseph Parker, of course, included Andy Ruiz. They made it entertaining, man. Big Baby Miller, all these mega heavyweights that were challenging and were entertaining. Heavyweight boxing was amazing, and it's been great, especially after the Klitschko period where Wladimir and Vitaly were, holding the belts and dominating. I actually did like Vitaly Klitschko a bit more, especially after his performance against Lennox Lewis, Britain's finest, probably the best Britain has ever produced. Even though some people don't consider him British because he fought obviously for Canada, but for me, he's probably the best. He is the best out of we've ever witnessed coming uh, out of the island of Great Britain. But Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, just thank you to both men for bringing boxing back to life, and they do deserve that last fight between the people that change the trajectory of heavyweight boxing in Britain. Even though the fight is at the end, it is something that is definitely worth tuning in for. Definitely entertaining. For our selfish reasons as fans. One of them is definitely getting KO'd, and I think Anthony Joshua will get KO'd, unfortunately. Both of them slow now, not as fast as they used to. Fit, slowed down, reflexes, not the same. So, and in Fury's case, I don't think he loses that weight as easy as he used to. Anthony Joshua always been in shape, but it don't matter. Father time catches up with you. Chin is gone, feet are gone, reflexes looking very sus, mentally fragile. But for Fury, I think AJ just he rises when it comes to Fury. Something happens that make him, he rises when it comes to Fury. Pause. He definitely got that energy like, yes, I can have him. And I feel like he's been looking at Fury for a long time, and it's been, his biggest rival, which he's never faced under the lights. Definitely going to be tuning in. However, it is sad. It is a sad moment, but for selfish reasons, I want to see this one last time. We get to see some of these greats. Usyk as well, I forgot to mention. You see, when these guys were making noise, he was in the lower division, cruiserweight, making noise there. And, but these guys, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, gave us great fights. It's a shame we don't get to see them at the highest level, which has been a theme of boxing over the years anyway. Remember Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather? They gave us that fight again 5-6 years late. Same here, they're giving us 5-6 years late. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, who's retired now. They gave us the fight after Errol Spence obviously had that accident. I think he had 2 accidents before that, and he was not the same guy no more. Even though Bad did produce a masterclass, that's not taking away nothing from Crawford. But Errol Spence was not the same guy. Even though he did look good against Danny Garcia, he absolutely dominated Danny Garcia. But yeah, he was not the same level, especially when you're fighting an elite fighter, someone who's a Hall of Famer in Terence Crawford. So again, we've seen these fights that were delayed for the fight fans. They were not made at the right time for various reasons. You know, another fight we never got to see again, Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. You know, what a shame. You know, but at least we get to see the British boy fighting each other. Tyson Fury for Dillian Whyte for Anthony Joshua. You know, at least we get to see Fury and AJ, even though it's too late. They are not the same guys anymore. They're just not. They are the finished products. They're not finished products like that, but yeah, they are on their way down, and both of them really shouldn't be fighting anymore. This is heavyweight boxing. You know, when both of these men, even though they've made millions of money, when they're sitting down in their house, and you know, boxing is a devastating sport. You know, you make a lot of money if you do the right things. If you are fortunate enough to make it to the top, you know. But especially these guys have taken some punishment. Tyson Fury has been in there, took a few punishments, especially with Deontay Wilder. AJ has been taking a lot of punishment lately. You know, they've both been in there with Usyk twice. Yo, this fight for me shouldn't happen, but we're here for it as boxing fans that have enjoyed the flag bearers of boxing in Britain, heavyweight flag bearers who've changed the trajectory of heavyweight boxing. And this era will be remembered because of these two guys' contribution. Anthony Joshua brought back money into the business with the combination of matchroom boxing. Fury came back and added the flame. You know, keep the flame going, make people interested. But this fight should not be happening, but we're here for it. As the two warriors of the golden generation of the 2000s, modern day golden generation, I call this. Absolutely amazing. Even though both of these guys will now know that they've always been second best to the one and only king of this era, Aleksandr Usyk, who is the only one to be undisputed in the division. And I will do a video next talking about the new crop of heavyweight boxing, which is again exciting, especially from the UK side. There is still some exciting fights that we're gonna have to watch. We've already watched a Dubois a win against Fabio Wardley, and the rematch is pending. We still got some exciting fights. Moses Itauma, the future of heavyweight boxing, is here. You know, see fighting next month. We also got Caballero. Hey, it's exciting again. We want to see these fights. Heavyweight boxing is still exciting. There's a few fights to be excited about, especially the young guys coming up. But we'll focus on them on a different video. On this one, I just wanted to talk about the two legends of this sport, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. after their terrible performances, which confirms the thing for everyone now that Father Time catches up with all of us. No one escapes. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your boy LOC to the S-Locks, as I always say. Hey, listen, you only live it once. Or do you live it every day? I don't know. But enjoy life to the fullest. Do what you love. Do what you enjoy. No fear. Go for it. Do what you love. Do what you enjoy. And I'll catch you in the next one, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Peace.